Hey guys, welcome to Political Rhythms TV, hosted by the one and only me, giving you my take on all that's political, cultural and social going on all around us. So you know what to do. Like, subscribe and share with your friend them, and let's begin to get political together. So as I get political, I'm gonna be a bit controversial right now because I'm coming for you straight people. Me have something for tell you no, I'm choosing violence right about now. It seems to be that people feel like there's been a grand awakening in England where, because there's been two law changes and two switches up and two progressions on the media where, you know, they might actually reflect the realities of the real society just a little bit more, and you might see a couple faces that is a little bit different to the average, you know, white, straight, you know, standard. So because there's been a bit of changes there's this idea that we've just made complete progression and we don't have to talk about these things. And of course, you know, the actual statistics, like, I don't know, you're 10 times more likely to commit suicide if you're gay. You're just more likely to suffer from depression and anxiety and mental health ailments. Majority of countries in the world still to this very day in their laws have discriminatory practices against those that are in the LGBT population. Within cultural enclaves such as mine as a black British person, we know that being gay can be quite problematic to the point of potential safety issues, etc. So when I hear people saying things like, I don't know, is it just me, but are people still actually homophobic? And you're like, okay, that's interesting to me. If there wasn't homophobia, would there be stark differences between those that are heterosexual and those that are straight? But it's important to know that when you are LGBT, whether or not you are white, black, whether or not you are a son of a duke within the aristocracy, you can... I may have even said that right. Whether or not you are extremely educationally privileged, whether or not you have mommy and daddy there, whether or not you have all of these things there, in this context, you are still more likely to commit suicide than your straight counterpart. You are still disproportionately more likely to suffer from loneliness, isolation, anxiety, and other ailments. Just because there may have been legal shifts and changes, the journey and the narrative of gay people is very different to those that are straight. So there has to be deep-rooted change, which in my opinion starts with straight people because they are the majority. They are the one that carries the dominant narrative. You did not start life, as did gay people, in a system where every aspect of your identity is received to you as to be wrong. I know from the age of 5 years old, I received very clear messages in the language and the images that I saw around me that told me in some way or another that who I was absolutely wrong, and I needed to find ways by myself, I must add, to navigate through in a way that I'm protected, I'm armored up, and I can survive in a world that doesn't necessarily agree with who I am, but I have to pretend because I understand that as a man I have to be or do something else. Most children learn the skills and they mimic from people they see around you. Gay people don't have that. They do not have gay role models mostly. Their family, their mom and dad tends to usually be heterosexuals. So gay people have a very unique experience in terms of how they have to bring themselves up in this world. I think a very, very drastic statistic is that there's only 3 to 5% of the world is made up of those that are LGBT. So I need you to know that in every or most spaces, we are the minority, and there is something called minority stressors. An exaggerated feeling of always feeling like you are by yourself, that you're in an isolation. And it's usually only up until the average gay person gets to maybe their late teens that they may meet a friend or somebody that they begin to know that is like them.
You're my special friend.
It's almost like an awakening. I can tell you, for me, the first time I ever met somebody that was black and gay and of Jamaican descent or Caribbean descent at least, it was an awakening for me. Finally, I saw my reflection rendered visible. And the trauma that has, not being able to see yourself in a positive way or in a way that's enforced, is hugely traumatic. I remember growing up and never ever seeing the idea of gay love being celebrated. I have only ever seen it in a way that's very much a seedy fuck in the corner. So the demonstration of that, we're not taught to be those people. So when we look at rates for instance, with sexual irresponsibility, rates of HIV, STIs, and my personal experience of dating in the gay scene, and where it is very much promiscuity is at the forefront, where conversations start with gay people with a picture of a dick.
Oh no, dick pic.
And relationships and stability and marriage and life and all of those things that for the overwhelming majority of the world participates in, which really keeps us alive, having children, buying a house, having grandchildren, all of these things that we're very much encouraged to exist within. Gay people are very much removed from those things. And sometimes it bothers me actually. Somebody asked me the other day like, oh Marcus, you're so good looking, well you don't have a boyfriend, why not? Blah, 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 blah. And I just really wanted to say, you should be more shocked if I was in a relationship, because gay people are overwhelmingly more likely to be disproportionately straight and single for the majority of their lives in comparison to their heterosexual counterparts. I know we see celebrations of black and gay love on TV now in very small compartmentalized way, but the truth is that the statistics from a majority point of view, and again, this is not just something I've read, I for one have never been in a sustained consistent relationship. It's not me saying, oh woe me, I'm not in a relationship, because you're then going to say, oh, because straight people can be single as well. But the options and the availability and the demonstration isn't there for gay people. So therefore the way that we navigate ourselves within relationships, particularly if you're a sexual and racial minority like myself, is very, very small, and it's very, very challenging, and it's very, very difficult. I love being gay. I love me.
You know me?
Huh?
You know me?
Yes.
But navigating myself in this world, in this heteronormative world, in this dominant world, within this dominant narrative, is very difficult. And then it's very difficult having to explain those things, having to deal with people or interact with people that are completely blinded to the fact that a few words or a few changes in the law has not changed the journey of gay people. Every time you say and you make a big deal out of the fact, oh my God, you know he's gay, then I want to go, but why did you think it was straight? Every time you make this big deal out of somebody's sexuality, you are further providing a space for somebody to go back into the closet because they just want to live normally in the same way that you are just assumed to be straight, and you don't have to explain yourself in that way. But I've always been very fascinated in the way that straight people are obsessed with knowing who gay people are, or who are the gay people in the room. Do you think he might be gay? No, that man there, I think he's gay, you know. Okay, so let's get back down to what we was talking about. When straight people find out if somebody's gay and they don't seem to understand what that does. Those small little microaggressions. Yes, a microaggression. Why is that of any concern? Why is that a thing for you? And then you might get, yeah, I don't even know, I don't know why he just won't even say it, like, just be honest with yourself. Excuse me, you as a straight person have actually been a part of the reason why he or she can't come out the closet. And by that very comment, by saying, I don't know why, they just don't even, what do you mean you don't know why? Why would somebody who exists in the world that knows that them potentially coming out and talking the truth of who they are can lead them to danger, why would they be so open to come up with these things? I don't understand what you don't understand. Go to the left, go and overstand and rejoin the conversation when you overstand Wagwan and then you see Wagwan around you. Open your eye.
How about I sit here until you fall asleep?
Somebody very recently said to me, Lord God, the man come out as gay and I feel so sorry for the woman and blah, 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 blah. Then the person asked me whether or not I feel sorry for the woman. My response was, I feel sorry for the woman in the same way that I would feel sorry for the woman in any scenario where there has been infidelity. But I don't feel sorry for her more because her man has so happened to be gay. Where my sadness goes is the fact that there's a man who felt that he had no alternative but to enter into a relationship with a woman to save face for himself. That for me screams trauma. That for me screams psychological pain. I'm pretty sure that she'll be able to move on as a heterosexual person in a world that she's the majority. But my sympathy lies with him. Boom, say it, gone. my sympathy lies with him. If there wasn't the heteronormativity which straight people and somebody like she, who I assume uses the language and all of those many things that you just think is nothing because what's joked to you is dead to me, that is what led to him entering into a relationship with she. Because one thing I can tell you for sure, there ain't no gay man alive that would willingly put themselves in a relationship with a woman.
I'm not gay no more.
But for them to do it, you have to ask yourself the question, why? And when you ask the question why, the answer comes straight back to you. Take some responsibility for the way that you talk and the way that you behave and the way that you act, because the effect that it has on children of those that are around you in the room, and when that surfaces itself in 20 years and then you want to back up and then say all kinds of things that you don't know what's going on because there's been a few legal changes, wake up and stop it.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
So let me know your thoughts down below. Comment, share with your friends them and get them in the conversation as well so we can get political together. Political Rhythms TV.